Welcome back, you lovely lot, and welcome to a new video on a new product review. Today we are going to be taking a look at the CRP123X scanner from Launch, which has just been sent out. So we're going to go through it all together, unbox it, test it, and see what it's all about. If you're interested in that, keep watching. So recently Launch reached out to us and asked us if we'd be interested in reviewing and videoing, testing one of their kind of more budget options when it comes to their diagnostic scanners. And of course, who am I to say no? We've actually done a review on a Launch scanner in the past, a very, very premium one. I'll stick that up in the top right hand corner, just here somewhere. And that was truly magnificent. I mean, that is a very, very, very high end scanner, more for your garage or your mobile mechanic kind of thing, not necessarily a home DIY one. But we are now going to review one more for people like you and I who maybe have a couple of cars in our garage, on our driveway, that kind of stuff, begrudgingly have to take it to a garage now and again to get things done like oil service, reset lights, that kind of stuff, and would rather not pay people to do that. So this is where this little beauty comes in. It is the CRP123X, which is the upgraded version of the 123E, I do believe. Anyway, we're going to get this unboxed, see what we get inside, and then we'll take it out to the car and give it a quick test. So there's the outer box basically, guys. As you can see, it is from Launch. It is the C-Reader Professional Edition, as it were, but as I said, a more budget-friendly option than the one we did previously. There's a little overview of what it will do. 5-inch screen, which is basically a 720p OBD2, and it's effectively an Android-based scanner diagnostic tool. So we'll get this box open, see what we find inside. So straight away, the first thing that becomes pretty obvious is it comes in its own little carry case, which is always nice. However, not like some of the other ones I've seen. This is not a kind of reinforced carry case. It is just literally a little satchel, as you can see there. And it's got a little kind of carry handle there and a zip all the way along the side. So if we just unzip that, we will find inside here a user guide, I imagine, and some sort of quick start guide. Yeah, there you go. The usual kind of stuff, not overly comprehensive, but these things are pretty self-explanatory once you've used one or two of them. But if you do need to check and reference any of the functionality or things that you're kind of diagnosing, there's your quick start guide and your user manual. Inside the box, we will have its little cable to connect it to the OBD2 sensor on your car, and obviously the plug to stick it into the back of the machine. We'll have a look at that in a minute. And there is also a little data transfer cable there and a charging cable in one, because it does have its own internal battery as well, which is a 6100 milliamp, I think, or 6150, something like that. Not a massive one. I mean, you get bigger batteries in phones, but it will obviously take a charge from the car's 12-volt battery as you're using it. So, you know, it's nice that it's got one, but it's not overly necessary, so it doesn't have to be a huge battery. And then we've got a couple of silica kind of bags there as well, and that is seemingly just about it. Yeah, just another bag. And there's the scanner. As I said, the Launch CRP123X, which we will turn on in a second and have a little look inside. But what we'll do is I'll have a quick overview. Very robust looking little unit. This, as I said, a 5-inch screen, which is a bit deceptive because you look at the screen there and you'd think that that was the screen, but it's actually just in there. So it's the size of a small mobile phone, basically. It's just the internal bit there that you would actually use. You've got a home button, up and down, left and right, OK, and return. Not much else really on there. It doesn't seem to even say, oh, just on the back, C-Reader Professional 123X, and there's your barcode. That's about it. Not really much to shout about. There's a nice little grip there. I'll see if I can get that in there for your fingers. You can just hold on to it like so. Would have been nice to see it with a Bluetooth dongle. I do prefer to see that because it means that you can actually then obviously use it from outside the car. But this, using the OBD cable, you wouldn't mean that you have to use it basically inside the car or leaning out of the car, whatever. And it doesn't seem to have a clip here to kind of hook it over your steering wheel, which I always love seeing that, because it just means that it makes things easier. If you're sat in the car, there's your steering wheel, you clip this over the top, and then you just basically do what you want to do. Anyway, that is a quick unboxing and overview of what you get in the box for the CRP123X. Not really much to shout about. What we'll do is we will take it out to the car, we'll put it through its paces, do a few tests, and basically give you an overview and a conclusion of what we think of it. All right, let's get out to the car. So as you can see, guys, we are now in the car with the Launch scanner. We're going to basically switch on the ignition because I believe, looking at the screen that just came on, this has got absolutely zero battery power because a little battery symbol did come on to show zero battery. So it does have an internal battery, as we know, but it is completely flat. So we will have to use the car battery, as it were, hooked up via the OBD connector. That will basically give us operational power to see exactly what this thing does. We do, as I said previously, have an EML light on, which has been on for quite a while. I know what the engine light's on for, but it'll be interesting to see if this gives us the information that the other more expensive scanners gave us already. And we'll do a little graph test as well to see how that oxygen sensor is looking on here as well, to give you an example. So first things first, let's switch this on and see what we're greeted with. See how quickly this boots up. Now, bear in mind, this is a budget scanner in that respect that, if you look at some of the other stuff we've done, the operating systems may be Windows based, as this one is obviously, but sometimes the processor chip and the RAM is higher, as it were, in the more expensive ones. This, as I said, is a budget option, so it'll be interesting to see what they've put inside here. If I have got any kind of specs regarding the RAM and the operating system, the ROM, etc., I'll put up on the left hand side of the screen here for you. Anyway, let's switch this on, see what we come up with. Okay, so it started its little startup procedure. Launch, create, change. As I said, quite interesting to see how quickly this starts up. I would think it's going to be somewhere around about 30 seconds, something like that. And as I said, if you look at the other launch one we did, the far more professional launch that we did, I'll stick a link in just up here. That actual startup process was about 5 seconds. It was extraordinarily quick, but bear in mind, this is the budget launch scanner. That's actually not so bad so far. That's been about 10 seconds. We get this funky little picture coming up. Welcome to use CRP123X. Nice use of English grammar then. Okay, anyway, so let's start. We will choose English, obviously. We're nowhere near any of these places here. Bear with me, guys. I'll just kind of skip through this so you don't have to get bored looking at this. Now it's going to start searching for the network. Obviously, we need to get the Wi-Fi up and running, so I'll do that and I'll cut back in. All right, after about 3 seconds of faffery there, actually, we are into the main operating system screen here. As you can see, usual stuff. You've got the OBD2, the diagnosis, the IM readiness, the reset, battery voltage, data, the MOL, which I assume can buy other components for this, the upgrade, of which there seem to be 32 currently, and settings. We'll start off in settings and see exactly what we've got in here. As you can see, we've got screen capture, which is turned off, automatic detection on startup, which basically means as soon as you plug it in, it will do an auto VIN read, which is what it did just now, but I cut that bit out because this is a 2001 Toyota RAV4 and it doesn't have the capability to have an auto VIN read off it, so it just kind of chunks around and doesn't really do anything anyway, but I'll show you how to do that in a second. You've got your display brightness, your sound, your network, time zone, languages, recovery, cleanup, and to clean up some space, we'll actually turn off that. Oh no, we've gone into brightness. The one thing I would say is this screen is absolutely tiny. Even though you've got this big area here, the actual screen is really, really tiny. Anyway, we got rid of that. Yeah, as you can see, it's got this kind of huge bezels around the side here. I mean, the box is yay big, but the actual screen is really tiny. So it's a bit, I mean, as you can see, my finger here is possibly a little bit too big for this, but we'll endeavour to crack on. All right then, so we've checked out the settings. Let's go into the OBD2. Let it see if it'll connect. And as I said, we do know we've got a problem with this car with an EML light on. So we'll see exactly what this little CRX123 will come up with and tell us about. It'll probably fail on all of this OBD2 ISO protocols because it often does, and then we have to just basically go in and manually input the data that we need for it to read the car. So bear with me a sec. As you can see, all these are saying failed, but it's not a problem. It's just because it's an old car and it's a newer scanner in that respect. Seems like it might have been my fault actually there, guys. I didn't put the ignition on, so we will retry, but I still actually maintain that because this is such an old car, it probably won't work with this OBD2 connector down the bottom there. It just doesn't want to read any of these protocols here for some reason. We do get it to work, but this kind of searching protocol doesn't seem to work on older cars. I don't know why, but that's the same for every scanner, quite frankly. And then it basically says, in process, please wait, and we will wait now, even though it failed on all the protocols. It does that on all scanners, as I said. So basically you have the basic information. There's no VIN because it didn't auto read it. The MIL status is on. As you can see, we knew that. There are 3 DTCs in this ECU. Readiness completed 4, readiness not completed 2, data stream supported 27. We've got an ignition spark, protocol type, blah de blah de blah. Okay. Now, what we will do is read the fault codes. That'll be the easiest thing to do. We'll would have to go all the way down to Toyota, of course. The ignition is obviously on the car, and we'll see what we come up with and how quickly it does it. So far, I'm actually quite impressed. For a budget scanner, this is a lot quicker than I thought it would be. I really expected this to be super slow and a pain in the bum. Okay, well, it's come up with exactly the same error codes and information as all the other scanners have, and that is a good thing, because obviously if it didn't come up with those, then it wouldn't be much good, would it? Anyway, we've got the P0174 and the 125, which basically means that we've got a O2 sensor, and I know about that. I bought one from China and it didn't work anyway, but I will get around to fixing that. But it's a good thing because it means I can test out these scanners at the moment. So we've got a system to lean on, bank 2. As I said, I did know about that. There's not much I can do about that. Insufficient coolant temperature for closed loop flume. Well, I don't know what that's about. Never seen that before. Air fuel, which is, again, it's all about basically that O2 sensor. There's not much we can do about that. We can obviously go in here and clear the fault codes, and it'll just say it will clear all the emissions related diagnostic information, ignition off and key on. They say yes, okay. DTCs have been cleared. If we look up on the dash now, that's actually not really true, unless of course we need to now switch off the ignition, switch it back on again, and then obviously start the car. There you go. It's got rid of the little EML light. That will come back on. I'll switch the engine off for a second because that will come back on. It comes on after about 3,000 revs, obviously, because the emissions kicks in and the ECU goes, oh my God, there's something terribly wrong. But anyway, that's how you would do your basic OBD2 functionality there. You'd read the fault code. You'd find out what it is. You can then Google what that code is, even though it gives you a brief explanation of what the code was there, as you saw yourself on the screen then. You can Google that, find out exactly what's going on, what you need to do, fix it, clear the code, ignition on and off again, start the car, and it should all be good to go. That's the basic OBD2 functionality. Yes, I'd like to get rid of that. Okay, let's have a look at the battery voltage. Now, this is basically just a graph. What we'll do is we'll switch the car on, and it should show us the voltage there as a stable line around about 12 volts, and it should drop slightly, probably to around about 9 volts when we start the car. There we go, right down to 9 volts, and it just showed as we went down. And obviously now the car's running, we're at just over 14 volts, which is perfect. If you had a problem there, then obviously that would show you that. So let's get out of here, and we will check out the resets. I don't imagine there's going to be a huge amount of reset functionality in here like there has been in some of the other scanners we've covered. I don't think you're going to be able to do the AdBlue, the gearbox, airbags, necessarily all of them, but we will see. So what have we got in reset mode? We've got airbag reset, we've got electronic throttle learning reset, and we've got an oil reset, which is obviously a very good thing. It basically means if we have a light on the dash that says service due in X amount of miles, then we can go into there. See what I mean about this screen being really, really diddy? In fact, we might be better off just using this button here because the screen is so small. I think personally you'd be better off using the back and OK buttons here. So there's your resets. As I said, you've got the airbags, the throttle learning, and you've got the oil reset. Very, very basic, but very, very useful. I mean, obviously, as I said, we've done a lot of these scanners now, and some of the ones we've done have been so comprehensive, it's just crazy. But this is a basic budget scanner, and if all you need to do is reset your oil light every year because you're doing your own oil changes, perfect, ideal. And obviously clearing any fault codes, any MLs on your dashboard. IM readiness, connecting, here we go. We will have a little look here. We should, I imagine, have a little graph that will come up and we can check to see how things are doing. We can basically check different boxes within the IM readiness, and then obviously we may actually have to start the car. So bear with me a second, guys. We'll try to get in there again because it may not have connected up because the car wasn't running. Okay, well, that's interesting. The IM readiness doesn't seem to really do very much. I'm not quite sure why. I'll look into that, and if I come up with an explanation, I will let you guys know on screen now. But the IM readiness doesn't seem to be working. That's entirely possible. It needs an update here, as in it says upgrade, but I'm pretty sure that means update. We'll have a little look at that. We may as well while we are sat in the car. And there you go. Auto search. Obviously, these are the cars that are covered down here. You've got an update for a lot of different stuff here. Kia, Mazda, Mitsubishi, Nissan, Opel, Peugeot. These are all the cars, obviously, that you can diagnose and have a little look at. We will have a look at the diagnostics in a minute. The mall, I don't know what that is. Let's have a look. I'm assuming that's where you buy different functions or subscriptions. And there we are. You can have ABS bleeding. Okay, so basically what this is telling me is As this is the budget scanner, it's not necessarily so that it doesn't do all the stuff that the more expensive stuff does. It's just that it's not included. Now, as you can see here, you've got ABS bleeding, air fuel reset, air level calibration, or if you wanted something like a really expensive car manufacturer, Aston Martin, you've got to pay for them basically. Yeah, okay, brake reset. Then you've got, as I said, all the other manufacturers, DPF regen, EGR adaptation, $38. What's that? About 30 quid, something like that. And then you've got Ferrari. So it seems to me the premium car manufacturers you've got to pay for, and the premium resets like EGR adaptation, DPF regen, you've got to pay for all that, which is a shame, I have to say. But as I said, try to bear in mind this is a budget option. So if you didn't need that, you don't have to pay for stuff that's not necessary. I hope that makes sense. It does to me anyway. Okay, let's get into the diagnosis. This is where we'll find all the car manufacturers. We've got our auto detect. We know that doesn't auto detect because this is such an old car. So we are going to go down to Toyota as usual. We'll try to find that. I know it's down here somewhere. There we go, Toyota, and we will press OK. It should start connecting now. Now, I'm assuming that this will have a health check or a system scan or something along those lines. There we go. And we've got the 16-pin DLC Europe and other. We'll have a little look at that and see what it comes up with. Now searching, please wait, 25%. I'll cut back in when this is all the way up to 100%, guys. So now it's reading the VIN for us. I'm not sure if that's going to read the VIN properly. It is, well, that's interesting because this is a 2001 and it's saying a 2003 August. That's interesting. Okay, well, let's get in there. It's a RAV4. It's told us it's a RAV4. That's good. It's a 1FE engine type, the year 2001, 4 cylinders. Okay, well, thanks for telling me everything I actually knew. Okay, let's get out of there. Scanning vehicle data again. Let's have a look. I'm hoping it's not going to take us straight back to exactly where we were before because that's not really conducive to what we're doing. Okay, right, so we've either got a system selection, which if we go into there, you can check all systems, chassis, body, or powertrain, or let's just hit that one, it'll be easier. Or we can do a health report, which will basically do all of the systems within this car. So I'll let it do its health report, and then I'll come back in and show you what the results are, because this invariably does take a little bit of time. Well, that's interesting. It's come up with this screen here, which I have not seen before. It's telling me the engine and ECT is normal, the ABS is normal, but it's telling me I could clear the code. I can't actually do very much else apart from that by the looks of things. So we'll do that again, because that basically, as soon as I said I'd cut off and it was scanning, it just came up with 2 different systems here. Perhaps I press some... No, there we go. All right, well, we'll clear the code and see what happens then, even though I'm not sure what the code... There you go, no fault code found, even though it actually says it's normal, which is interesting. So that's the health check part of things. Let's have a look at the systems, as in all systems. And we've only got 3. So we've got the engine, anti-lock braking, and the supplemental restraint system, as in airbags, and that's because we haven't bought anything from the MAL, as it were. Let's have a look at the chassis, and that's obviously anti-lock braking, and yeah, okay, so basically we've got 3 systems that we can check within now. As I said, guys, bear in mind this is a budget option, so that's how you would get into your specific car if that's where you were looking to go. There's not much else I can do with this scanner. As I said, guys, this is a budget option, but it is from an incredibly reputable brand. Launch have been around for a very long time. They know what they're doing, they know what they're making, and they make some incredible products. Most garages I go to either use Launch or Snap-on. It's kind of a section down, shall we say, from Snap-on, but it's in that kind of realm of quality and technology, Launch. And as I said, we've done some reviews on Launch stuff in the past. Check the channel for other diagnostic scanner reviews. But that is it for this one. This has been the CRP123X. I'm going to do some more updates, even though it says upgrade there, and if there's anything changes, I will plug it back in and have a look, and if anything changes, I'll let you guys know. But that's going to be it for the kind of basic review of this scanner. If you're looking for something to reset your oil light every year, if you do your own maintenance, if you've got a mill light on, as in an engine management light, and you're not sure what it is, and you just want to clear it quickly and not have to spend a fortune, bearing in mind, if you take your car to a garage, just to have the engine light taken off will probably cost you roughly 50 to 100 quid, depending on where you go. Say if you owned a Ford and you went to Ford, they're going to charge you 100 quid. If you have got any other car and you go to any Joe Blogg's garage, they'll probably charge you 50, 60 quid. But for the price of this, you can do your own oil changes, check your airbag lights, your mill lights, all that kind of stuff, delete all those codes yourself, and as I said, reset your oil service interval light on your dash, and within a year it's kind of paid for itself anyway. And I think that's invaluable personally. Link will be in the description. If you've got any comments or questions, please drop that in the comments section. If you like this kind of stuff, please consider subscribing, give the video a thumbs up, a like and a share, all that kind of good stuff. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram and Facebook as well, We've just opened up a TikTok account as well, so if you prefer TikTok, have a look for this there as well. Budget Cars and Bikes. That's in its infancy at the moment, but please follow us along there. And we do put quite a lot of stuff up on Instagram and Facebook a lot sooner than we put it up on YouTube, because it's just simpler basically. But we aim to get a video out once a week on a Saturday, so we do 4 videos a month at the moment, and we have been doing for the last year. So if you like this kind of content, then as I said, please consider subscribing, give the video a thumbs up, a like and a share. We'll catch up next weekend, and we will be reviewing either a car or a bike or a diagnostic scanner or something car related anyway, because that's what we're all about here on Budget Cars and Bikes. As I said, if you like the content, consider subscribing. We'll catch up next week. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope it helped.